With the government expecting more vaccines to arrive in the coming months, let's get the latest on the country's deals from Philippine Ambassador to the United States, Babe Romualdez. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us. You had a meeting with the White House, with key officials on Friday. What is the status now of the Philippine proposal to borrow AstraZeneca vaccine doses from the U.S. government?
Well, thank you very much for having me, Rico. Yes, we actually discussed borrowing was the first step that we wanted to offer, but actually they already donated quite a bit at the COVAX facility. So they were able to move that AstraZeneca, which is I think it just arrived in the Philippines. So that is really coming from the U.S. contribution to the COVAX facility.
But any direct contribution from their supply for the Philippines? Was there any type of commitment on more doses and when we could receive them, in getting them directly rather than through the COVAX facility?
Well, you know, there are so many countries that are asking for the same thing. So what they're doing now, and this is the understanding I have here, is that they are using the COVAX facility as the conduit to be able to spread it out to as many countries as possible. Obviously, the Philippines is on top of their list together with the other allied countries. So we expect to receive perhaps more down the road. In fact, President Biden wrote to President Duterte recently, and one of those is he did say in that letter that he hopes to be able to help the Philippines in its vaccine procurement and that as soon as possible, which means to say they're just stabilizing the situation here in the United States. And right after that, I think the supply lines for most of these vaccines coming from this country will be available to the world.
We just heard Ambassador Enrique Razon saying that the first batch of Moderna doses will be arriving on June 21st. And until the end of the year, we may be receiving up to 20 million doses. Apart from these 20 million doses, will there be more orders from Moderna for the country?
Yes, we are actually now on the process of having meetings and at the same time already coming out with some supply agreements. We're looking at the booster shots, which are coming from Moderna. These are very effective boosters, which we will need anyway down the road for those. It will complement any vaccine, meaning any brand that we take. In other words, after 6 or 7 months, you may need to have a booster shot. So we're already negotiating for that one. And we hope to be able to have that delivered to the Philippines as soon as it's been approved here in the United States for the EUA.
What about the one-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccines, Ambassador? How soon are we getting doses from this vaccine?
Yes, we are already we're already talking to Johnson & Johnson also. I think we've already committed about 5 million. We're hoping to get another 5 million. I think Secretary Galvez has already been able to secure 5 million, and hopefully we will add another 5 million to that one. The total package that we're working at coming from the United States is anywhere between 70 to 80 million down the road. And this deliveries will come starting June all the way down to the end of the year and perhaps up to early next year, the first quarter of next year.
And I'm sure, Ambassador, apart from talking vaccines with officials in the White House on Friday, did you also discuss about the issues of the West Philippine Sea? Because there have been mixed messages from the government, from President Duterte and Secretary Locsin and Secretary Lorenzana. Has the U.S. said anything that the country has to be on the same page?
Well, I think there is no question that the United States is committed to MDT. I think that is the crucial part of this whole equation, is that the MDT is very clear, and I think Secretary Locsin was able to explain that very well. I think last night when he had a meeting with the President and the other members of the cabinet, where he explained how the MDT works. And it is up to the Philippines now to be able to use the relationship that we have with the United States in coordination with them. And I can see that Secretary Lorenzana, for instance, is in touch with the the Secretary of Defense here, and at the same time, many of our military, I have to say, in Washington, D.C. is also coordinating with the United States on all aspects of our relationship as far as the military alliance is concerned.
So is the United States, Ambassador, just a call away if the Philippines needs to help remove Chinese vessels in the West Philippine Sea? Is the commitment still there from the Americans?
Absolutely. I have no doubt. Like I said, this is the first time that I see the United States more committed than ever. You heard it first from Secretary Blinken when he spoke to Secretary Locsin, the first person he probably called. From what I'm told, Secretary Locsin was one of the first foreign ministers that Secretary Blinken called, and a commitment once again about the United States backing the Philippines. And then he had a call also from Secretary Austin, the Defense Secretary, to Secretary Lorenzana. The same message was clear. And as I said recently, President Biden wrote to President Duterte, and in that letter, he also made a commitment on our mutual defense treaty. So it's all clear. And like I said, all of this commitments coming from the highest officials here in the United States, it's very clear that they are truly committed to this MDT.
Ambassador Babe Romualdez joining us from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word.